Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
PCOS and what is it?
Endometriosis.
Endometriosis. Talk to me. I know that was very, very important for you. To talk to you, and I had the other day. I remember that was something that you were very passionate about. Discussing and kind of just touching on a little bit. So if you don't mind, just talk to me a little bit about, or talk to the listeners a little bit about what that is. Okay. Your experience with it.
I didn't get diagnosed with PCOS until I was faced with having surgery in 2018. Polycystic ovarian syndrome is basically diabetes of the female reproductive system. And so our body needs insulin to do a lot of things, including reproduce. And so because women with endometriosis, one of the biggest things is that their body resists insulin. It's harder for us to get pregnant, stay pregnant, and to have children.
And you was first diagnosed with this when? Because you said you had to have surgery in 2018. Mm-hmm. Okay. When did you first find out that you had it?
She didn't want to call it PCOS at the time, but they found my first a cyst on my ovary when I was 12. And it was small. Yeah, it was small. It was nothing that she wanted to be worried about at the time.
She as in the doctor, your mother?
Yes, as in my OBGYN. I didn't know what PCOS was up until 2017, when my pain and things of that nature got unbearable. It wasn't even the monthly, it was an all the time thing. Every day waking up, I was just feeling the worst. I couldn't really get out of the bed. Prior to then, I was like passing out at school just because of the pain. It was horrible. And nobody could ever put a name to what was going on. But that's because nobody was really studying polycystic ovarian syndrome. Everybody would just try to cure it with birth control pills. And so when I got to college, I think that's when they were shining the light on PCOS a little more. And by that time, it had just gotten to the point where it was huge. The cyst that was on my ovary was about the same size as a grapefruit, and it was wrapped around my fallopian tube and my ovary. And so they had to take all of that from my right side. And so right now I'm only working with one ovary and one fallopian tube. A lot of women that I know that has one, they are like reproducing at a nice rate. Once they took the ovary, they thought that everything would be fine and I would be back to working normally. Well, that's when I was diagnosed with endometriosis because the pain did not stop.
Which is two separate things.
Okay,
so what is endometriosis?
Endometriosis is basically you have endo cells that are on the inside of the reproductive system, and it's basically the things. It's like an alert. Your body's alert that tells your body that you're on your cycle. Right. Well, those cells can get outside of the uterine wall, and it's always telling your body that it's on its cycle, so it's always in pain, and that's what that causes.
Okay, if you don't mind me asking, this might be a little bit too personal, but you said it always tells your body that you're on your cycle. Does that mean the body
it's just the pain?
Like, okay.
So it's always the cramps, really bad. It's horrible for some women. For me, they just want me to take medication every day. So
no surgery was needed for this.
I'm having surgery in February for this. They said that I would be basically able to reproduce on my own naturally after this, but we don't know because I'm battling PCOS and endometriosis, and PCOS it kind of messes up your hormonal imbalance. Well, it's a hormonal imbalance as well, and so my hormones are out of whack along with having endometriosis. So they stop one, and then it'll work naturally for a little while, but necessarily, to sum it up, medication will be needed for me to reproduce. And I think it affects a lot of Black women. I know PCOS does. I don't think that women really know how to recognize the signs. And so a lot of us deal with PCOS and live with PCOS for our entire lives and don't understand or even know. And that's why I was wanting to talk about it, because it's important.
Well, first of all, let me say thank you so much for being transparent and genuine enough and open enough to come on a podcast and talk about something like that, because that's super personal. And I'm that type of person where I'll talk about just about anything with myself. But everybody isn't like that, right? Some people are just too private and strictly private. Some people are embarrassed. Some people don't want other people to know what they're experiencing or what they're dealing with. So thank you so much for that. If you don't mind me asking, has these conditions impacted your and I don't want to assume anything, your insecurity? Has it made you insecure, or your confidence, the confidence you have in yourself?
It definitely has.
Your mental health,
definitely with the mental health. I am trying to educate myself more on my PCOS and my hormonal imbalance. And I think, I know your hormones, they play a part with mental health. And so if my hormones are out of whack, I'm usually out of whack. And I know that that's something that my, not my endometriosis, but my PCOS plays a part on. So I'm trying to find natural ways to balance out my hormones. With relationships, that's the biggie for me, because I didn't find out that I had endometriosis or PCOS until I was in college. And I'm a big person on trying to date with the intent of it going somewhere else. So I had to be upfront with people whom I thought that I would see long term in my life. It did bring some insecurity, because when I found out about my PCOS, I was actually in a relationship, and we weren't having sexual intercourse because it would hurt. And he didn't understand that. And so he was like, "You just don't want to have sex with me. You having sex with somebody else." So we broke up. And then when so then when he found out that I'm having PCOS, I have PCOS and I'm having surgery, now you want to come back and you're trying to understand it and things of that nature.
Wait. So at the time when he was feeling this way, did you know yet?
No.
Or you didn't know yet, but you knew that something was wrong and it was more than what he was thinking the reasons were. Okay. And then you later found out, and then he found out, and then it was like a complete...
Yeah, it was a 360. Like, I'm not 360, 180. I want to be here, and I love you, and I apologize, but your whole family hate me now, because they really didn't like me. They didn't understand. And I was like, even if I just wanted to practice abstinence, you're upset because I don't want to partake in relations with your son. Like, it was that deep.
Whoa, listen, I know we're not on the podcast to talk about this.
Yeah.
I just want to say, so the family wasn't upset with you because you wasn't having it.
Yeah, because, I mean, he went back and, gave his own story of the way things went down. And to sum it up, it was because I didn't want to partake in sexual relations with him. And when it got back to his mom, and I remember, because they are from here, and so we were driving around. I think we were finna go to Walmart, and she was just telling me basically what he told her. And she was, because she's a nurse, and she was like, "Well, I kind of understand PCOS a little bit, and that y'all shouldn't have broken up for that." And I'm like, "Well, I know that, but y'all know that now."
Right.
So that's how that went. Dating, I always try to keep it a book open and transparent. I've told people, up front, I want to be with you, but if we talk about kids or anything of that nature, I'm probably going to need help. It's not you, it's me, and we go for it or we don't. And that's how I've just been maneuvering.
Yeah. Has it been extremely challenging?
It has been, because I'm so open. Those are the conversations that you have up front. We talk about kids. We talk about...
everybody's not like that.
Yeah, we talk about marriage. We talk about all of those things up front. So sometimes the initial date, or maybe like the second date, that's all that we have. It's nothing that goes deep or past that, because that's something we already talk about. You want to have kids, I want to have kids too, but I may need help. Are you okay if we don't ever have kids? If that's not something that you're not okay with, then I'm going to move around, because I don't want to put myself... I can't afford another attachment to somebody that doesn't go anywhere, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense.
And so that's just how I kind of been maneuvering. And everybody says that they're open to...
You good.
Okay. Everybody says that they're open to one thing initially, but you never know how it goes down the road. So I kind of always keep that guard up because I just can't get hurt again. Not from this. Yeah.